Well, welcome to another edition of Catching Up with Coach T. I'm Assistant Director of Athletic Communications, Dylan Smith. And with me is none other than head coach Edwin Thompson of the baseball team. Coach Thompson, how are you doing today?
Man, Dylan, good to see you. Doing great. Have a little stop in the day before we head out recruiting a little bit. But no, things are good. Kind of we get enjoying the warm weather here in DC today. But it's summertime. I guess that's how it works.
Well, let's talk about the summer. I mean, what have you been up to? What's been going on, and update us on what's happening in the baseball world.
Yeah, I think for us to just go out and recruiting. I think like most programs, once the season kind of finishes up, we try to take care of our current guys, get them out of summer baseball, get them acclimated, get them set it up, and then we hit the road, go different places locally, nationally, regionally, to go out and find players that we can kind of help us get that next step, as well as seeing our current players. We try to get out, see our guys play when we can. So it's been we've been all over from California to Georgia to Florida, obviously the Mid-Atlantic region, going to Boston, New York, you name it, we kind of get there as many events as we can. So we just try to gather as many names and see as many events as we possibly can. We can't get to everybody. So.
Well, you touched on it briefly in the beginning part. Obviously, it's important for you guys to go out and play summer ball and for you guys to go see them and see what they can do playing against similar competition as they see during the year. But how important, how crucial is it for these guys to get that experience?
Oh, it's very important. I think as long as they're healthy, we send guys out. I think it's a critical part of our player development system, allowing them to get more bats. They play in wooden bat leagues. They travel around the country. They travel in buses. So they kind of get a feel what minor league baseball looks like. But at the same time, they all have a curriculum they have to work on during the summertime for their individual skill set to help them get better for Georgetown. And so it allows them to grow, gives them another voice to listen to from different coaching staff, which is ultimately important for them. But just playing high level competition, we also encourage in all of our incoming guys. They as well are playing. A lot of them are playing in college summer leagues before they even get here, so they're getting acclimated to the speed of the game, the ability, the fans, and all the different things that come with playing at this level. It really has helped our guys and have success when they come back. If you look at the year we had last year, a lot of our guys had really big jumps in their growth as a player in the summertime. So it allows them to kind of have that, that player development kind of built in for us.
And you touched briefly on, last season and the great season that you guys had. And, a lot of those guys were able to carry over some of that stuff into the summer, and kind of talk more about just the importance of getting those guys to hone in on their skills. And then, what would you expect them to bring back coming into the summer and coming back from the summer, I should say, and coming into the fall? And what are those expectations for them as you get into it?
Yeah, I think, when you look at any player, you want to kind of grow in areas that they need to work on. And I think the summertime where they keep scoring, it wins, and the guys have championships and things of that nature. But then at the end of the day, whether you hit 400 or we hit 200, it's about getting those reps and getting those opportunities to work on certain things. Maybe have to bunt more, to hit and run more, whatever that may be. But ultimately, we just try to get those guys to improve, and when they come back to show us what they've improved on, and ultimately how that will help us win games. And that's how it works, especially on the mound. A lot of our guys getting a lot of good innings this summer. So just working on maybe another pitch, maybe developing that third pitch, or just helping themselves out. So I think those are the biggest things. Just seeing them come back with something new is always kind of like a new tool to work with. And typically, a lot of times, it's confidence is the biggest one. Whether you had success or not, you kind of come back like, okay, I'm more, especially those freshmen. Those freshmen that go out there and play, that may not have played a lot during the spring. They come back as sophomores. Everything's kind of slowing things down. And so we've seen a really big growth in that area.
Not to entirely shift gears here, but obviously the big thing about the summer is the MLB draft. Unfortunately, we didn't see any of the Georgetown guys get drafted this year, but that also means that you bring back a heavy amount of guys for this coming year. Talk about that and how is the roster shaping up for the first practice, which is coming up relatively soon?
Yeah, it was. We had three guys that were in the draft process, and I think we went through that, and they went through that as individuals, and ultimately MLB said that there wasn't time, and I think it was also it's good and bad. In the sense, you want to help the kids live their dreams, but at the same time, it's not always the timings. It has to work out. And with a shortened draft, it's really, really hard to get into professional baseball right now. And I think the safe bet is always going to school, getting your degree. But we want to have our guys getting ready for that next year. And we'll have a couple guys, I think, next year will get their name called. And that's going to be exciting. So with that being said, is having all the guys back is great. We returned 9 out of our 10 offensive players from last year, top guys, if you will. And so from an offensive standpoint, we have a really good base of what we feel is a pretty good thing. I think on the mound, we lost a lot of guys. So it's kind of like we had to replace a lot of players. And so we're returning, a good core of our team on both sides. And obviously we're going to add a bunch of new players starting this fall. And I think that's going to kind of be the exciting part. Is like every year it's a new team. It's a new group of players that we have to kind of get to where we want to play at the right time. And so it's here. It's going to be about probably a month and a half away, and we'll start practice, and we'll get into some fall competitions and things of that nature. So really looking forward to that, just getting our kids back. I think that's kind of the case when you're in the summertime. There's a lull. When after the season, you kind of want to have a little separation. Then towards the end of it, you're like, okay, I'm ready to have them back. And so it's just exciting time. They feel it. We feel as coaching staff to get back to do what we love together.
So the big thing as we start to move closer and closer to that comeback day, and the fall season is going to come up relatively quickly. The biggest thing you talked about at the last time we chatted was one word, which was change. And that was really the emphasis about the 2022 season. What are some of those goals? And is there maybe a word that you can describe going into the fall that you really want to drive home for these guys, for these, not only the newest players that are coming in, but the returners that are coming in, having to help these newcomers come and set their feet on the ground here at Georgetown?
Well, the fall is really about blending, right? Because you have to blend players coming in, high school kids, our returning players. We're gonna have, obviously we're gonna have some transfers that will transfer in. So blending the group together to help them develop and help them compete. Those 3 things are kind of really, really important parts of the fall. We want to see, how the team kind of gels. We want to see how the team will develop. We want to see how the team will compete. And those 3 things are going to be as important as anything to us winning games in the springtime. So the sooner we can get the guys blended together into a cohesive group or in that direction, we can really work on their development, and then we'll make sure that the competition is always going to be staple in our program. So I think blending the group, the guys, is obviously going to be great, and so that part of it is the key part for us this fall, is just to get those guys all in line, all on the same page, and then having the ability to just continue our development as a program, but also individually, because the fall is really about the individual, getting them better, which ultimately get our team better in the springtime. The spring's more about our team, and then obviously our competition level is going to be very high. We expect a very competitive fall, as we always do, in positions to jobs to be won and things of that nature. So blend would be the word for the fall, and then off that will kind of be develop and compete.
Coach, that's all the questions I have. Is there anything pressing that you've got on the plate, and things that maybe we haven't touched on that the fans of Georgetown would love to know?
Yeah, I mean, I think we had 3 All-Stars this summer. We had a bunch of guys who right now are in the middle of their postseason, chance to win a championship. And I think, trying to touch on the summer baseball, those things matters. Having our guys going to postseason, getting used to being in the playoffs and winning playoff games, being in big spots, high leverage situations. So I think, that part to wrap up our summer. We just got academically, today was known an Academic Excellence Award for the ABCA with a 3.4, for the GPA. So, a lot of positive things, to kind of come out of this summer as we kind of transition back into classes. Just, we want to hit all phases going, continue to keep the trajectory of this thing going in the right direction. And so far, the guys have been really answering the bell, answering the call to do that too. So looking forward to getting them back. Looking to see that we'll have a schedule for our fall games, which will be open to the public and be free to come out and watch us play this fall when we have some games, inter squad and some other exhibition games that we'll have. So just looking forward to that. And, always good to talk baseball. And but I know you got some real busy things going on. So looking forward to just taking the last few weeks to kind of recharge, resettle, and get ready to attack this fall.
Well, Coach, as usual, it's always a pleasure sitting down and chatting with you, and enjoy the last month of the summer. Enjoy any recruiting and trails and trips that you may be taking, and send you all the best, and hope to see you back here in September.
Sounds good. Look forward to it.
Well, on behalf of Head coach Edwin Thompson. I'm Assistant Director of Athletic Communications, Dylan Smith, and this has been Catching Up with Coach T.